Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you or help you to make a good kick drum. The most important part in nearly any song, but particularly any dance song, electro house, most important part. Okay, this is not the right way or the wrong way, this is just a way that I do it, but you might get some ideas. So I've already picked two kicks here just from a sample pack, just from the Vengeance Essential Electro, I'm guessing, from that title. Yep. So I've got a low drum, I've got two kicks. Okay, so I'll show you this one here. This one's the low end. Okay, so that one, like I say, I can hear it's got more of a low end, and it's going to be perfect to have at the bottom of my two kicks. And the other one, this one here, is my higher kick drum. It's got a real nice snappy attack, and it's got a bit more high end to it. Okay, so those are the two. I've got one for the bottom end and one for the top end. Now, again, I try and make the separation a little more clear. So if I bring up this EQ, and I've already kind of gone ahead and done it only because when I make my tutorials, I'm not actually listening through my monitors, I'm listening through the computer speakers, and obviously that's a mission to try and get a decent sounding kick drum. So it's still good enough though, you'll still know what I'm doing. Okay, so if I bypass this, this is just for that low kick drum by itself. You can see I've rolled everything off below 29. I've given it a little 2 dB boost at 74, and because I'm trying to make this one, you know, all the low end side of the kick, I've rolled off everything with a 12 dB slope at 940, but I'll have this zoomed in, you can see what I'm doing. So now this is the low kick drum. I'll bypass that. So you can see just how much I am actually making it sit right down the bottom. It totally changes the sound. Okay, so that's my low kick drum. Now if we go and do some work on this high one, I'll solo this again. And if I bring up the EQ that I had, very simple again, bypass that. Now I've rolled everything off with a 24 dB slope at 65, because I don't really want to interfere too much with this other kick drum that is doing all the work down the bottom end. I've got a 1 dB boost for a bit of presence at 4050, and then up at 10,000 Hz I've boosted it 3 dB. Personally, I like my high end kick to have some high end because it helps cut through the mix and cut through your synths a lot better, so I have boosted it up there. Yeah, I have boosted it up there, so this is the difference now with the EQ on the high kick alone. I'll just take that away. So this one is definitely now just nice and snappy up the top end, and if I put those two kicks together, and if I take the low end away, even though this low end, when you listen to it, is really quiet and you can hardly hear it, you wait till I play both of them, and then I'll turn off this low kick. The difference is, I hope it comes through the speakers okay, but the difference is quite big. If I take the low one out, back in, okay, just gives it a lot more punch. Now also, you might not know, you might not do this trick, but I personally think all the best kick drums have a slight bit of a closed hat in there, okay? So I'll play one in there. Which one? This one sounds pretty good. Okay, so I'll just play one in there. Okay, so I've just played one in there. Just make sure I quantize it and put it right at the start. Now I'll just listen to this hi-hat by itself. Now I'll play that on top of the other two kick drums. Again, it's really helping it on the top end of the kick. I personally over the last 3 or 4 months have been really liking kicks that have a good high end. I just think it sits a whole lot better when the actual song's playing, and it just cuts through the mix a whole lot better. Okay, so I sometimes also, with the hi-hat that sits on top of the kick, I'll just personally, sometimes I'll put it really wide on the speakers, makes it sound bigger. So I usually put the 513 setting, and this is with it on. Okay, now the last thing is you've got your 3 sounds that are making up your kick drum, so we want them to gel even more. Okay, so highlight them all, click and hold down on output 1, 2, go down to bus, we'll make it bus 1, here's our auxiliary 1, which is bus 1, call this kick. I do 2 things. I usually use a PSP vintage warmer, but it doesn't have the same settings as a compressor, so I'll just show you guys with a standard Logic compressor. Alright, now let's listen to it first. Okay, all I do is with this compressor is I'll bring the attack down a tiny bit, and that's really it, because the difference really, if you have a really quick attack, it's really obviously the compressor's working and engaging pretty quickly because of the short attack time, so it's working on the transients and the attack transients of the kick, making them pretty snappy. I like a pretty snappy kick, so this is how I'd normally have it. And I'm only just taking off like 1 dB. I'm just sort of gelling them together. I'm not squashing it, otherwise the kick won't be punchy at all. Okay, so don't pull down the threshold a whole lot. Check your gain reduction bar. Look for maybe 1 to 2 maximum of gain reduction. Like I say, if you had a really slow attack, okay, all the transients and all the attack transients get through because the attack is so slow and the compressor isn't engaging as fast. You might hear a bit of a difference, I'll show you. So you can see when you got a quicker attack, with this compressor anyway, it's a lot more punchy and snappy, and it's what I like. And it's not over compressed, because you can tell here I'm just tweaking it a little bit, just taking a little bit of gain reduction. And the last thing, and then I'm all done, we'll get an enveloper up. It's like a Transient Shaper, in other words, and all I do is I put the attack up a little bit. And if you pull it down to see the difference, normal, done, a little bit more attack. That's it. That's how I do my kick drums. Send them to a bus, and that's it. A low kick drum, a high kick drum, a little closed head on top, send them to a bus, and that's how you get that's how I get my solid kicks. And if you do something similar, I promise you'll get a nice solid kick drum. I guess half the battle is finding, trolling through all the sample packs that you've got, and just trial and error. Find one that's good for the low end, find one that's good for the high end. Alright, I hope this has helped you guys out. This is an important tutorial because a kick drum, if you've got a solid kick drum, you've already made half the best of dance song that you can. So I hope this helps you guys out in making better music. Thank you.